Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. And we are now joined again by our good friend, Miss Kellee Durrant. How are you?
I'm doing really good. How about yourself, Jill?
I'm doing great. Always a pleasure to have you here. And for those listeners out there, we're also live on Zoom. And our friend, Kellee Alexa, she is an amazing spiritual medium. She's an empath. She's a animal communicator. She can communicate with anyone from the other side, and she can help you in so many different ways. And you are enough. And that's what our shirt says today. You are enough, right? Some of us lose that self-esteem, but she's here helping so many people above and beyond healing. Find her on Facebook, and it's Kellee, spelled Kellee.
Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome.
And I guess we have decided on what the topic is going to be today. You are enough. How's that?
See? Well, before the show, I always ask, the guests, do they have anything to talk about? And, I know with her, spirit comes to her, kind of guides her through what we're here to talk about. And we're going to go on a roll, of course. And yeah, so tell me about that shirt and that saying. Is that intentional or no?
Actually, no, it wasn't. It was totally unintentional. And I just went into my drawer today and went, what am I going to wear for a top? No, that one's not. This is the one that I need to wear today.
See? So it's not intentional, but it is, because something guided you to pick that out. Something guided me to notice it.
Exactly. And here I was today going, I don't even know what we are going to talk about. And right up until the introduction, I have not a clue. And I guess we're going to talk about, are you enough and how are you enough?
Beautiful.
So, and that is a very great way to call it beautiful. And never, ever put yourself down. Always look at the good within you. People like to criticize about the negative or things that they don't like and they see in another individual.
Yeah.
But if they look at themselves, that is the very thing that is wrong with them that needs healing. Think about that.
Yeah.
If you're noticing something about somebody, look at yourself first, and does it need healing? Somebody was quick to just grab something, and you notice that, and you're going, that's offensive. That's almost aggressive. Now take a look at yourself and go, why is that aggressive to you? What's happened in your life to make that and make you feel you are aggressive?
Mm-hmm.
And do you have to have some healing done because of some trauma in your life that makes you think that that is aggressive? Did somebody or something raise their hands to you? Does that need to be healed? And when you do start noticing what you need to be healed with and the things that you need healing with, then you are enough. And it doesn't matter what people say, think, whatever, or do. As long as you are true to yourself, you are enough. And it doesn't matter what you're doing in life, your walk in life, or your career path, or what your choices are. You are enough. And when you think back on what you have done in life,
yeah,
and how you accomplished that, doesn't that make you proud?
Yeah.
Of what you've done?
Yeah.
And that you've done it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Or that you were aware that you needed to say, I need help. Can someone help me?
Mm-hmm.
And go and find the right person. And so that all swings back to you are enough.
Mm-hmm.
and say each word as if it is a complete sentence. You, period, are, period, enough, period. And how does that make you feel when you say it?
Good.
Well, you got a new guide today.
Hello, guide.
And of course, you got the angels with you again. They're shimmering down at the bottom. It'd be your left corner.
Wow.
So they're there today, and they're okay. What has been going on with you, Jill?
What are they saying?
They're laughing about something that you did this past week.
What did I do?
With your kids.
What did I do with my kids? What was this week? We are nonstop on fire, from ice skating to lacrosse. Then we had soccer practice last night. I'm trying to think what else we do this weekend that was fun or crazy.
It was a topic that you and your children were discussing.
Oh, well, we talk about death and the afterlife all the time. I don't know if that's funny, but my son asked lots of questions about that. What else? We started reading
And how did you respond to those questions?
Oh, well, amazing. My little guy, Jackson, is kind of a little intuitive. He asks lots of questions about my mom, his May, and always wants to know where they are, how it works. And I try to tell him, he says, heaven. I said, I think she's here near us. I'm trying to explain it to them. He looks up I would always, oh, heaven's there. I said, but I think heaven's around us. I think that she's right here. So he's like, where? Am I hitting her? I'm like, yeah, I think she's right there. I try to explain that to him. And, my older one doesn't really care to ask questions about that stuff, but we talk about my mom and how she's around and how things happen. And if the lights flicker or something goes wrong or the phone rings by accident, he's like, that's May. I'm like, yeah, it is. So we talked about that. I went to church this weekend, learning about the Bible. So now he's asking more questions. So we started reading a Bible, a kid's Bible at night, Noah's Ark. He's asking questions about the animals that got on the boat and the penguins. Inquisitive stories, Adam and Eve. And, so been teaching that type of thing. Is that what's coming in, or was it something else? I don't remember. Okay.
That is exactly what is coming in.
Yeah.
And the archangel and angels, they're kind of chuckling because they really like the way you are talking to them and keeping it in the open and not brushing it under the carpet.
Yeah.
And that you yourself have taken a grasp on the situation, said, okay, I'm going to be open with them about spirituality, about religion, and not force it on them. They're asking the questions, I'll answer them. And I'll make sure that stays open at all times.
Yeah. And the movie nights I told you we've been doing at night, but now my oldest, because he knows before movie night, which is not every night, but we have to watch a little of the news. So now my oldest, Austin, 7, he's like, Mom, we got to watch the news. We got to see what's happening in Ukraine. He's only 7. So 5 and 7-year-old know about Ukraine, about Russia. They're seeing the bombings. They're seeing the news. They're seeing dead people. They're seeing them being buried. And I'm like, this is life. This is reality. This is what's happening. And my old one is interested in this. And it's good to know that they're well-rounded. And people might say, you shouldn't be teaching your kids about war and death. And why not? It's part of life. And I tell them all the time, Mommy's going to die eventually. So are you. And that's okay. And I make it fun and happy. And that's fine. And I will love you from afar. And you have family that's going to love you. And it's fine. It's part of life. So I'm very open about everything, about sex, about women. I would live alone with 2 little boys. They want to know what a period is. I tell them and I show them, this is it. A woman bleeds and you're going to learn it. Nothing is off the table in my house. We're very open people.
And that is really commendable. And as my t-shirt says, you are enough, because you are bringing all of this to the forefront. You are making sure that they are aware of what is going on in the world around them. You are making a point of showing them what life and death is.
Yeah.
And some people don't have that choice. And having that kind of an open relationship with your children, that is so, so amazing.
Yeah. Well, the little one asked me the other day, can I see a dead body? Can you show me what a dead body looks like? And I said, oh, actually, I said, I could Google one. I said, what type of dead body? One that's in an accident, one that's in, he said, just May May. I said, okay. And I never went through my phone, but when my mom passed, she was with me. I have it all on video and I have pictures of her when she passed. And then I even did her makeup for her she didn't want to have an open casket, but I kind of made her. So I did her makeup for her. So I have pictures. I said, yeah, and I'll show you May May. I said, she'll be yelling at me from above, don't show him that stuff. I look horrible. But she looks so beautiful when she died. I said, there's nothing wrong with that. I'll show you what May May looks like when she passed. It's just her body. And that cancer lifted out and she looked so beautiful. I said, she looked like a model because all the cancer and the puffiness went away. And it was like her face came back within minutes. It was goosebumps. It was amazing. So yeah, I have pictures of my mom dead. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm some people think I'm crazy. I'm not. I'm just open. I don't like hiding anything. Let them make their own decisions. If they want to ask questions and see May May, hey, it's available, you know? You don't want to ask, don't want to know, don't ask. It's fine.
And what kind of healing did you receive because of that question? And you opened that up and you looked at it again.
Yeah.
And look at how it helped you all over through the eyes of a child.
Yeah.
Because you're starting to look at things like a child.
Inquisitive, uncovering. I want to know more. I want to, yes, absolutely.
Yes. And your kids, your beautiful boys, they're asking the questions. And so it's making you have to look at things through their eyes.
Yeah.
And not as an adult, but having the control of an adult so that you can say, okay, that's enough of this, you know, but then those controls or those contexts and whatnot, parameters that are required for when you're raising children.
Yeah.
And so that all swings right back around to, are you enough? Question mark. Yeah. Just transposing those words around. Yeah. And ask yourself, are you enough? Can you get along in this world with just yourself? Can you make yourself happy? Can you take yourself out on a date? And I asked you if you were going to take yourself out on your own date. Have yourself a date night.
Did not yet, no. No, not yet.
And you have to. Or take yourself out alone for supper, a nice supper. Not just one of those meals on the run where you go through the drive-thru, but where you sit down at a restaurant table and you have a glass of wine or a beverage of your choice and just let somebody wait on you and just kind of sit back and enjoy the experience of dining alone, where you don't have to make conversation with anybody, but just yourself.
Never, ever done that.
And the waitress. It really is an eye-opener when you can go into a restaurant, have a nice filet mignon and lobster and wine, and the whole, you know, or whatever your main go-to celebratory kind of a meal is. But do it, and do it alone. And just pay attention to how you feel and how it makes you feel and how you react or interact with other people around you that are in the restaurant with you, or how you respond to your waitress and whatnot.
Yeah.
How you respond to yourself. How do you respond to yourself?
I've done it at bars. I've sat at bars by myself, but always would have friends that work at the restaurant. So I've never really been alone. I'm trying to think at all out at a restaurant in that type of setting.
Yeah. After my husband passed away, I had to try it because now I don't have anybody to share that with. So now it was a whole new experience,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you are a widow or a widower, someone who's lost their life partner. Now you don't have that individual to share everyday life with. Now you only got yourself, and see how you react. Are you enough? Because you are enough. By taking that step, you are really finding out who you are and seeing how you react or interact or don't react. You're finding out more about yourself and how you can look after other people at the same time then, because you're finding out more about yourself and what you are capable of.
Yeah.
Because look at some of the people that have been in a lifetime relationship, and it's always been their spouse that has looked after the finances or the purchasing or the groceries or whatever. And now all of a sudden that particular individual isn't here, and you have to learn all of that. You can do it. You are enough.
Mm-hmm.
Small, little baby steps. And that's what it takes. And it is so important to remember that you just don't go to pieces over it because you think that you can't do it. You can.
Now, can I ask you personally, how long did it take after your husband passed? Were you able to do that and be at ease and will? Someone like you who's more connected to the afterworld, you still grieve, you still hurt, you still lose, you
Yeah.
still cry. But was it quicker for someone like you to
It
better
actually,
or?
it really varies with the individual and what their relationship all entailed or how it proceeded throughout their life.
Mm-hmm.
Individual. And for myself, because I am a kind of a spiritual thing, and I am a spiritual thing.
You are?
But because I can communicate with people that have crossed over and things like that, of that nature, I actually found that within 4 to 6 months, I was doing a lot. Like I had already gone out and had supper alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so weird. All I took with me was my iPad or my tablet or whatever. And I opened up a note page and I jotted down how I felt about it all. And I still look back on that very first time, that very first episode of doing it alone and how I felt. And now, as time has progressed, it's not a big deal anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I can do it. I'm comfortable with doing it. I just know now that I don't sit in a big booth. I sit at a small booth. You know, I don't sit at a table for 4 people. I sit at a table for 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing I have not done is sat up at a counter yet at a bar. I haven't gone to the bar alone yet. So that's still in the process. But I feel that if I can do eating alone without a problem, it's going to be a problem going to the bar.
Well, it's also preference because I prefer to eat at a bar. So when I go to the bar, it's a restaurant bar and there's still food. I order the food at the bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but do you sit up at the counter, at the bar counter, or do you sit at a table in the bar?
Oh, usually the bar counter. But yeah, I like the tables there too. Little
Yeah,
social to meet people. Mm-hmm.
That's exactly why you sit at the bar. And because then you can socialize with the bartender,
Mm-hmm.
whoever he or she may be.
Yeah.
And so therefore you're not alone.
Yeah. I gotta go
You go
alone.
sit at a table alone with nobody around you and see how that affects you.
Yeah.
See how you respond, see how you feel, and actually take notes if you so choose, because it is amazing how you actually will feel when you're doing something alone and you find out that you are enough. You can do it. It may sound frightening. Once you get there and you get over those jitters and stuff like that,
Yeah.
you're fine. It's over that whole big first step. And that's what a lot of it is taking that first step.
Mm-hmm. Always hard. See? What a
Baby
great
step.
conversation. Who knew? Just from your shirt today, from your wardrobe choice.
Yeah, and it was just ironic. And it's just a t-shirt
Yep.
that I got at Walmart, of all places.
I love it. I love Walmart.
You know, who says you have to go to these fancy places?
Nope.
You don't.
No.
You can take those little steps in all these little places, like the dollar store or the grocery store or into the bank or walking through a restaurant that may be in a mall. And you just pop your head in, take a look around, feel the energy. Yes, no. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go and have a bite to eat. And that's a good way to do it because now you don't feel pressure. Yeah. You're already out and about and you've already been into some of these outlets and gone shopping by yourself. Now, what's so different than taking yourself to a meal and treating yourself to that special meal alone? Totally alone. No friends, no partner, no kids. Yep. Alone.
And you also have to go somewhere where nobody knows you, though, too, because I frequent the same restaurants. So then you know the waitress, you know the bartender, you know the owner. So that would be a challenge to go somewhere totally new, not knowing anyone. Yes.
Yes, exactly. Because you're in the shopping mall or something like that, or in a strip shopping mall or whatever we want to call them. And you're going from one outlet to another, and then, but you've never been to that restaurant. Mm-hmm. You've never tried their food. It could be some ethnic food. And check it out, see how you react to it, how you feel, and you're adding on to new experiences, new memories you are creating instead of living with the old memories. Yeah. Well, we used to go here and this is what we did or not. Now you're creating the new ones so that it gives you a little bit more to look forward in life because you're not living in the past. No. You're living today. You're living for tomorrow, for what may come, whatever it may be. The only time you should be planning anything is things such as appointments that you need to keep, like medical appointments or job appointments or stuff like that. But live each day as if it is your last. Enjoy what you see. Enjoy the little things. Like I was out with a friend yesterday and we were shopping. And all I could hear was these screaming little kids. And all I could do was go, oh, the noise, you know, that piercing noise. Mm-hmm. And then I stopped and I gave my head a shake. And I went, they're just kids. Yeah. They're just kids. Mm-hmm. So let them be, smile and continue on. Because they are expressing their dissatisfaction or something that has gone on, and that is the way they are reacting to whatever is happening in their little world. Mm-hmm. But you can smile about it.
Yeah, well, I look, when I go on an airplane, my heart goes out, even before I had kids, to people who brought their babies on planes. I give them credit to take them because I know it's hard. Their ears and they're not. And the other side of me, I watch the people, and then I see the people who make the mean faces towards the mom with the screaming jaw. Instead of offering to help or try to play with the kid, like that's me. You look at people and they have that face like, oh, this is ridiculous. I'm trying to relax, but it's part of life. You chose to go on a plane and you're sitting amongst people. But I don't know. I always wonder about those people who don't understand that. Whether you have kids or not, you should understand. Is it annoying? Yes. Wish they weren't crying? Yes, but they do. And if you want peace and quiet, get your own private jet.
And especially when it's babies, because of the pressure. Mm-hmm. It is really hard on their poor little ears.
Yeah. So I think we should have to be more empathetic to people in general, be more open and understand everybody has their own situations, right? And just love, be kind. I think I'm enough. I'm kind. I feel like I'm enough. I mean, I am enough, but I wish everyone could feel enough, know enough, and to know enough is to like love everyone and everything,
Exactly. And that's what makes you are enough. Mm-hmm. Because we are enough. We as a human being should stop and take in the fact that maybe that guy or that girl or whomever is having a bad day. Because something happened. And so now they're striking out in the only way that they think that they should, because they want somebody to hurt just as much as they do. Yeah. But can you stop and give them a smile and say, I hope you have a better day?
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
And that will make the individual who's kind of cranky in that change their attitude. And that one smile to someone can mean a lifeline.
Absolutely.
And there we go again into a whole nother subject. Being mental health and how you are enough to help someone be able to listen and not judge. Just let them talk. Just let them be. Mm-hmm. If they want to talk to you, let them talk. If they want to cry, let them cry. And don't say, oh, you're a big boy or you're a big girl. Okay. Let them cry and tell them it's okay. Let it out. Because if they don't let it out, it's going to sit in there and fester. Yeah. Like a boil. And at some point in time, it's going to break. As all boils do.
Yeah. Well, we're almost out of time, but I have to point out, you always were able to sense and see and feel, what's around me, spirit guides, angels, you name it, but you have something over your shoulder. I think it's an owl.
Yes, there it is. It is an owl.
I may not see your spirits, but I see an owl. Wanted to feel like you for a second.
Yep. It's an owl like this little guy is too, sitting on a piece of amethyst.
Beautiful. What do owls mean to you? Is it one of your favorite?
I've always had an affinity for owls, and they may be a bird of prey, but they are gorgeous in flight.
Their eyes.
And believe it or not, their eyes do not rotate or turn in their head like us. They are fixed. And that is why.
And their heads can turn. Yeah.
Yeah. Almost right, completely around, but not.
Not fully around. Yeah.
But if you look at an owl in flight, it's so beautiful. Mm-hmm. And they are messengers. They do bring messages, and they also bring healing to those. But they're also known to be wise.
Yeah. So are you, Miss Kellee. Sorry we have to end it here.
Yeah, there we go again.
Yeah, but thank you. So you are enough. Kellee Alexa Durrant, we can find you on Facebook, Above and Beyond Healing. And do you want to give out your number?
I sure will. It is 403-561-6066. And you can either call or text on that number. And then you can contact me on my Facebook page at Above and Beyond Healing. Or you can email me at kdurrant@shaw.ca.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. Always a pleasure. And remember, you are enough too. We all are. Have a great day.
Right.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action. Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you can now listen live on the MyTuner Radio and online Radio Box apps for iOS, Android, and the Amazon App Store. Or check us out online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com or search Podcast Business News Network on onlineradiobox.com/US so you don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.